well-being. Good. Just a second. Let me get that off there. Excellent. I would like to welcome all Wing cousins. Thank you so much for attending this reunion meeting virtually, hopefully for the last time. We can clearly see the end of our involuntary pandemic isolation and are looking forward to resuming our personal lives and our Wing Family of America life in the manner that we have always experienced in the past. The pandemic has highlighted the central importance of the family in our personal, community, and national lives. The Wing Family of America was founded on the value our ancestors placed on strong, loving, and enduring bonds with which we are blessed. Now, as we always do, we remember those who have passed. This is since our last meeting. Mary Bossy, Dan Bennett, Warren Champlin, Jeanette Childs, Charles Wing Colcanon, William Cox, Lois Efferts, Nathalie Ruth George, Virginia Wing Harris, Mary Elizabeth Kiesling, Joan Lash, Marilla Blackwood Mason, Mary Miller, Lannis Wing Monfried, Dana Christopher Pierce, Florence Soblaski, Alice Dodge Walsh, Elizabeth Wing, Ulysses Franklin Wing, Floyd Ellery Wing, Howard E. Wing, Jack B. Wing, Norman Stagg Wing, Louise Edna Maderison, Robert D. Wing, Robert H. Wing, and Susan Wing. May we hold these, our departed dear cousins, in our memory, for they are part of our family's long story. And now, if we may, let us open with a prayer. Our Creator and Father, we thank you for our involuntary isolation due to the pandemic is coming to an end. As we meet, we are physically separated from one another, hopefully for the last time. However, through the use of technology, we are together virtually. Through your guidance and blessing of our family over the centuries, we are bound by deep family ties that have endured since our country was first founded. Help us to remember that our family founders endured and overcame pandemics with far fewer resources than with which we are now blessed, and you have continued to guide this family down through the years. May we be grateful and take strength from our family's past as we emerge from our time of testing. Lord, calm our spirits as we meet as a family to do your work. May you guide our deliberations so that we may continue our mission to preserve and extend the lasting bonds of family love, so that our lives and the lives of Wings yet to be born may continue to serve your will. We pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
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 And I guess, Beth, will just make it official. We have at this point 72 participants. Beth, would you declare that a quorum?
I will, yes.
Excellent. Okay, the next item on our list is the minutes from the last meeting, and I hope you all have had them. You will find that I lean on Richard Wing, our vice president. Richard, could you make a motion to accept the minutes? And if there are any amendments, people can make them.
I move the minutes from last year's meeting, and I'm looking for them the date, which I guess was
June 13th, 2020.
Be approved.
Do I
Second
have a
motion.
Thank you very much. Are there any amendments or notes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or just raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All those opposed? It is a vote. Next, I'm going to do something that is not on your schedule right now. And I'm going to call on Elizabeth Fulford. You're there, aren't you, Elizabeth?
Yes, I'm here, Doug.
Okay. No. Why don't you do the honors and then I'll wrap it up. You go to it.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Luann Brackett, this is for you. Today, the Ring Family of America is happy to make you an honorary member of the family.
Wow.
For the last 20 years, Luann has handled all of the materials for printing, publishing, and mailing of the owl. She designs the cover, she does the layout, and adds all the wonderful touches that make the owl unique. Her talented ideas, artistry, and great knowledge of our Wing family history make her an invaluable treasure to all of us. In short, we could not produce the owl without Luann. Luann began working with the owl in 1993 when Deborah O. Wing was the editor. Then she worked with Gil Wing, Lois Wing Smith, Genevieve Rolls, and finally me. She's attended lots of reunions in several states, and she's been to the Wing Fort House when the Wing family had its centennial anniversary. So the board, Lois, and I want to welcome Luann into the Wing family. We have this plaque for you, which states that you are an honorary Wing. Will be coming
Thank you.
in the mail. You can see this. If you can't see it, tell me what to do. Up, down.
Nope, that's good. Wow.
This is good. Okay. This is it. This makes you an honorary member of the Wing family, Luann.
Well, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Doug,
Luann.
over to you.
Luann, as president of the Wing Family of America, I want to, you're going to receive, obviously, your citation and plaque in the mail. However, Elizabeth sent this to me. I don't know whether you can see it, but it is not the actual, but it is facsimile of what you will receive. Your contributions to the owl and the fact that you're sticking with us, even though you are no longer with Wayne Publishing, but you are continuing to oversee the owl publication every year, is of a great service to us, and we deeply, deeply appreciate it. And the owl is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the great little journals that is around, and it is a wonderful, not only full of information, but it is a real recording of our history. So thank you so much for all that you have done for us.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I will tell you another thing, Luann. We have decided that you've got to give at least 20 years notice before you.
Oh, my. I better
Well,
get
thank you
that, I would assume. Yeah.
So we'll move on to a very important report, not that all of them aren't. Kathy Diedrich is going to give the treasurer's report, and I will have comments about it when she is done, but she's done a wonderful job. And Kathy, go ahead and please give your
Okay,
report.
thank you. I had sent a copy of the balance sheet and the profit and loss total of the board members, but if there are any members that would like a copy, I'd be happy to send them to you also. Our regular operating checking account as of May 21st has a total of $70,355 in it. There are $44,000 in restricted funds and $4,300 for the garden project, and $25,000 was board designated for the caretaker house. This in effect does leave negative $3,173 actually available to spend in our checking account. We had a total income for the fiscal year of $92,612, and we spent $116,234 which leaves a net profit of a negative 23,600. This, as I have learned, is mainly due to the higher income in the campaign last year with less spending. Vice versa, this year we spent more than we took in, and that's the difference. In the garden project, the board set aside $1,500 to get it started. We had received a total of $5,000 in donations toward it, and as of to date, we have spent $2,100. There's a little more trickling in now, but there's about 43 left to spend on the garden project. We have $20,025.60 in our endowment fund. $25.60 is the interest on it, and we are in the process of getting it put where we would get better interest rates on this. Then to move on to our phase 2 bank account. It right now, as of May 21st, had $18,000 in it. I have the income broken down by months, and we had a total income in this phase 2 campaign of $54,200, but $34,600 was one total donation. So we really only had about $20,000 in donations if you discard this one lovely person that did the great big one. That comes down to about $1,700 a month that we took in donations. It has dwindled tremendously. We have between 1 and 5 people donating a month. And that's where it's just dwindling, and we still need money. Our TD Ameritrade account is still left open. It's got like $46 in it to help keep it open and pay any fees that might incur for keeping it open. And all of our insurances, such as our commercial package and property and liability and workman's comp, are paid and up to date. And I think it was in February, I sent all of the information that is required for our audit committee to go over and look over all the information. And they came back with questions, of which I did not know the answer because of QuickBooks' strange way of doing it, and found the answer, and everything was in order. And their comment was, we are able to state that all transactions were found to be valid and in order. The phase 2 caretaker house renovation. We have $25,000 in board designated funds, $20,000 that's available for in our general fund, and $17,000 or so that is in our bank account. So we have $62,800 that is available for use for the caretaker's cottage renovation that is needed. For the phase 2 part, we have taken in, just on this phase 2 part for the caretaker's cottage, $183,115. We also have $4,400 in pledges that have yet to be paid, which would bring a total income of $187,540. The total expenditures for this phase 2 part of it comes to $163,981, of which we paid off the mortgage for the History Center. We have spent $85,245 in renovating the caretaker's cottage, and that subtracted from our income, we have the $18,000 in the bank. We have $125,000 to pay back our accounts that we borrowed from to purchase the History Center. So with the $18,000 that's in the bank to use, we have $107,000 we still have to make up. We still have to use this. We have $25,000 board designated, as I mentioned. We have the 20,000 general fund that I mentioned, and the 18,000 that is in the current bank account. So if we subtract that from the 107,000, we need at least $62,000 left to call it even. And I do have a whole list of where we spent the $85,000 on the renovation costs. If anybody wants to see that, I'd be happy to forward that to them. And if there's any questions, I'll gladly try to reply.
I'll wait to see if there's any questions, and if not, I'll make some comments. Number one, I want to really thank Kathy, because the accounting, especially over the last few years with the capital campaign beginning under Jim and then continuing under me, and then all the expenditures that we had on the History Center and now on the Seth Wing Cottage, which was in desperate need of being rehabbed, and I'll talk about that later. That has really made her job far more complex and a lot more reporting and accounting to do. And I really want to thank her. The fact that we expended far more on the Seth Wing caretaker out of phase 2, out of overspent this year, doesn't perturb me, because we booked the income last year and had a great surplus. And so we're just spending it this year, and not taking in, obviously, in phase 2 what we have in the past. So that doesn't concern me. What really concerns me is the drop off of $23,000 to $27,000 in small donations that we normally experience. And I will be addressing that in my summer newsletter. And I'm going to have Jim, and Jim is going to also state something in constant contact about it. We need to set that up. And we're talking about small annual gifts that members give. And that's the only thing in this thing that has really concerned me. And I'm laying it off to the pandemic. I may or may not be right on that, but we have done a lot of work and expended a lot of money on the History Center and on the Seth Wing house, which we will talk about later. So that's my comment about it. Are there any further questions about?
I turned the TV up, but it isn't working that way. I don't know. I might have to freaking pop your damn line into
Doug,
this.
I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. And if somebody wants to speak, you can just unmute yourselves.
Okay, yes. Yeah, anybody that wants to speak, just unmute. Those conversations.
Oh, I hate the remote mother. It's all done.
Doug, you'll need to unmute yourself now.
Okay, I'm back on, sorry. So that concludes the treasurer's report. And if there are any further questions, I'll wait a second. If not, I will move on. The next item on the agenda.
Doug,
Yes.
there was a lot of distortion while you were going through that last section. Can you quickly summarize? You said you were concerned about.
Oh, yes. The thing I wasn't concerned about was the seemingly, but it isn't, over expenditure of funds versus what we got in phase 2 during the 2021 period, because that's when we've expended a great deal of money. But we took in a great deal more money in the 2020. So that really just needs to be capitalized. That is not a deficit as far as I'm concerned, and
Right.
I chose it. But the thing that I am worried about is that the small donations that we normally receive without very much, solicitation or anything, really fell off by between $23,000 and $27,000. I'm laying that off to the pandemic. It may or may not be true, but we're going to really push to get things back up this year. That is the only part of that financial report. We are in great financial condition. Paul Wing gave a great finance officer's report during our board meeting. And, he says we're in good shape, but we do need to watch that, and we will be addressing it. You will be hearing. Well, one thing I want to do as president is keep the membership totally up to date, what our financial condition is. I think it's very important that everybody understands. We'll also be talking about some other things and how we're going to divide our budget between the museum function and what I call just the Wing Family of America operating budget that doesn't take into consideration great expenditures on the museum. And Christina Ships has set us on a new path, and we'll talk about that. So those are my comments, Buzz. And are there any questions that come up out of that? Hearing none, I will move on to the next item. And the next item is the corresponding secretary's report. And Robert Payne normally gives this. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Robert had an accident and emailed me his proxy so I could vote during the board meeting for him. But he also told me that he'd had an accident and would not be able to attend today. So I'm going to try to find out exactly what it is. I hope it isn't serious. I rely on Robert for a lot of things, including communications with all you folks. And not only that, the communication with the board and a whole series of other things. He also helps, along with Lois and Elizabeth, encourage membership to not get in arrears. They do a lot of work, and I really appreciate it. So I'll give his corresponding secretary's report, which should be in your packet. The total Wing Family of America membership is 975, which is up from last year. We have 41 new members. Comments on members who are overdue in membership fees is as follows. The OWL of December 1902 to 2020 sent a reminder message to overdue members. This message was very successful, and many overdue members responded and paid their dues. In addition, the WFA district representatives encouraged overdue members to pay their late fees. This encouragement by district representatives was also very successful. However, as of this date, 45 members have not paid their membership fees since June of 2017, and we will be addressing that as time goes on. I had another item in here that I mistakenly put. It said recognition of departed members. I did that above, so we'll skip that and we'll go to my report. And I want to use this report to give our members some kind of a feel, which would be very hard to do, of all of the work that is being done. We have many, many things, everything from a new website to an endowment committee, to a museum committee, to an endowment that we got from Christina Ships that has made a lot of what I'm going to talk about possible. We've also had a very, very active website committee, which will be expanded in the future. And all of these things have led to a great deal of activity. So I want to give thanks to the following people, and this is not the entire list. Richard V. Wing, Christina Ships, Jim Grisella, Dave Wheelock, Jim Whitman, Elizabeth Fulford, Paul Wing, Terry Wing, Jeff Miller, Robert Payne, Tori Grisella, Kathy Diedrich, Liz Fisher, Cindy Doherty, Marie Cutchin, and Buzz Schultz, and Sarah Burton. Also, thanks to all the Wing cousins who have made donations and invested time and effort for the various Wing family programs. And I'll just give you a quick rundown of the activity report because it's been very intense. As most of you probably know, we are going through a process with the American Alliance of Museum, which is an assessment program, which is known as the Museum Assessment Program, and it is extensive. And there are 6 segments to that. We have completed the first and done very, very well. I want to give Jim Grisella total credit because I gave him credit for 94.6% of the effort this morning, and I recalculated and it's closer to 98%. And the amount of information that we have given, the amount of work that he has done on cataloging of both documents and ephemera and other artifacts has been monumental over the last couple of years. Leading right into that, because that is part of what the museum assessment program is all about, we have formed a museum committee, and that was done back in our spring board meeting. And we used the 74-page Keeping the Momentum report from the American Alliance of Museum as a guide and reference as they do the work of drafting a mission statement, which they have done and we have accepted, fashioning the organizational outline and of the committee's duties and responsibilities, which is in process, and developing the list of program priorities the committee is and will be working on this year. Two of the priorities Jim is actively working on are a disaster plan, which is very, very important. In case of a disaster, we do not have a plan, and that is one of the things. If you go out for grants, you better have one. And if you have a disaster, forget grants, you better have one in order to protect what we have. And the cataloging, which is enormous, of all of our WFA documents and artifacts. The museum committee members are, and this is important, Richard Wing is the chair as vice president, Jim Grisella, Jeff Miller, Elizabeth Fulford, and Mark Wing, and me as ex officio and non-voting. I want to say that combined with this, the program the endowment committee is running now with Jim Whitman and Christina have done a tremendous amount of work, and that's what has led to this museum committee formation. And at this point, I want to make a real strong point. I've made it before, and I want to continue to make it. We have an operating budget of between $55,000 and $60,000 a year for what I just call our standard Wing Family of America operations. And I do not plan, and I don't think that Paul Wing plans to expand it either. However, with this new museum effort that we are making and the new program we're launching on, we're going to need money. And I'm not going to commingle that with the Wing Family of America annual budget. We're going to have to develop a grant writing program, which we're in the process of doing. And now we'll be able to go after grants because we have the wing, I shouldn't say the wing, the American Alliance of Museum process that we can advertise and make us eligible for some pretty major grants. And we're just going to have to come up with ways to run the museum without going into a major solicitation of our membership. So I want everybody to understand that. You have the museum committee, which will be running the museum and that museum operation. That museum operation is still under the board of directors and is part of the Wing Family of America. But this museum committee is going to do the operational work that is necessary. And what we're working towards, and Jim has been tremendously effective in getting us there, is to eventually be able to have a curator, a paid curator to do this job. And we will keep you totally up to date on this effort because this is very important. But I do want to make a strong statement so everybody understands we're not going to put this on the back of the Wing Family of America annual operating budget. Also, as part of this, Jim, Christina, Paul, Wing, Jim, Grisella, Richard, and Kathy have all been working on, and we're very close to having an endowment investment account with Camden National Bank. We've gotten some very favorable terms, and you'll be hearing more about that. We just got to locate a Wing Family of America stamp. We can't find it, but as soon as we've got that, we'll have all of the documentation we need and will be submitted and that account will be in effect. The other thing is the Seth Wing Cottage. We have done extensive restoration work. I was down there on the 10th of this month, and most of the work is done. The heating and ventilating system is going to be installed this next week. There's a little more wall and ceiling work, but not much. And then the painting and just putting down some flooring, and that will finalize it. We should be done that by the middle of July. And at our next reunion, we will be able to see for the first time the Seth Wing Cottage. It's known as the caretaker house to many of you, but this has been a work that had to be done. Lois Smith, who was my sister-in-law, heard her father say, and I've heard him say, back in the 70s when he was, and that was Glenn Wing, when he was president, that he really didn't think he'd have his dog reside there. And very little has ever been done with that, and it was in terrible shape. I can tell you right now, structurally, it is in great shape. The foundation has been totally redone. It's a laid up and mudded in foundation. The sills have all been replaced. And as soon as the final interior finishes are done, we will have a caretaker's house that is worthy of living in again and should continue to serve this organization. And I really appreciate what Dave and Jim have done. The website committee continues to work on updating our website platform. I won't even go into all of the things we discussed today about what members are going to be able to access from our database and new publications base that we are working on. But also, we will be talking about a lot of other applications that will allow our members to access all kinds of data that in the past has been impossible to do. Also, I had a report that Cindy Doherty, the head of that committee, the website committee, produced, and she's recommending, and we're going to look at it this fall and during our board meeting, of having a new committee, which would be the communications committee, and the website committee would be a subcommittee under that. So stay tuned. We'll be telling you about that. Terry Wing and his policy committee have engaged in updating our bylaws, and we just did so today. And we have formed a budget committee, which works with, not Terry, with Paul. And this was a great step that we did today. The Historians Project, Sharon Ahern is in the process of scanning and digitizing all of the extensive Bible collection which we have, which is a source of much Wing family information. She is working on site to do all the scanning work, and I think it's next week that she's going to do it. And I want to thank Buzz and tell him that Marie and I are on his committee. Buzz is putting together the 2022 annual committee reunion, and it's going to be in person. And as I say, I hope this is the last time we have to do a virtual reunion meeting. I'm looking forward to getting back together again in person, and we will keep you abreast of what Buzz is doing. And we're going to plan a really great reunion for next year. This is only a smattering of what we've really been actively working on this year. This report does not include much of the other work in which our committees are engaged, and I'll just name them. The Genealogical Research Committee has done a tremendous amount. The Publications Committee has done a tremendous amount of work, and we'll be talking about that in constant contact and in the president's newsletters. The Audit Committee has done a wonderful job. The Nominations Committee, which we'll be hearing from later today, the Database Committee, the Membership and Development Committee, and the Endowment Committee have all been very active during this past year. So I'd like everybody to give a hand to the folks that have done so much for the organization over the past year. Even though you're muted, I can see. So thanks to all of those you that do our never ending family work. Now that I have spouted on for far too long, we will go on to the committee reports. Elizabeth, you're on.
Now I'm here. Yeah, I noticed that we have a number of new district reps at this meeting today, and so I'm glad to see you, glad to meet you a little bit anyway, and I'm looking forward to getting your reports by the 30th of September, which is the OWL deadline. And I also see a number of members here today who have contributed to the OWL in the past, and I'd really like to thank you because everything you send in is great. Lois, are you with us today? Lois, unmute. I think she's here. No? Lois? Okay, well, I know Lois wanted to say some things to Luann about working with Gil Wing, but I can't seem to get her to talk. So
Now it's mute.
All right, put on
here
mute.
you go.
It's on
Lois,
mute.
talk to Luann, Lois.
I just wanted to thank, I just really wanted to thank Luann so much for all that she's done for the Wing family. And I'm just joyful that she's going to still continue working with us, and I'll be anxious to talk with her soon. And thanks, Liz, for taking over. We had difficulty getting back into Zoom after a very long board meeting. Okay, I think that's all I've got to say.
Okay,
thank you.
well, I think that you're going to have an exciting OWL coming up this year. It'll be a nice Christmas present. I've got some good stories lined up, so get ready for it. And that's
Thank you very much. Robert, the genealogical base, and at the same time, you can put out your appeal that we talked about during the board meeting.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Robert Wallen here. I may look just a little like Raymond Wing, but it ends at glasses and a dark shirt today. Many of you know I took on this role about four plus years ago, and Mark Wing took over for the very esteemed Jerry Bonecutter as well over a year ago now. So without belaboring the point, the main item I'd want you to take away from today is it's amazing that COVID has done a lot of bad things, but the good thing it seems to have done is given all of you motivation and time to go research your family trees. It's been amazing the number of you who've reached out, especially via email, but also in other means, looking for help. Sometimes it's a very, razor thin point about an individual you've been searching for and want to validate. Sometimes it's a very broad start, but all of them are welcome. That's why we're here. We're here to help fill in gaps, validate what you think, help you make the trace back. That's one of the big, valuable areas of our of being a part of this Wing Family America is to learn from each other. And we've crossed over 232,000 individuals, almost 90,000 marriages documented, making us one of the largest trees, certainly in the top 1%. So it's a very rich item that Raymond, and all the way back from the beginning of our of the Wing family being founded, was based on a really solid tree. The other half of this, though, and the real passion I brought to this was both modernizing our technology, but was also to invite you into the garden. Sometimes the tree can feel like it's in a vault somewhere and it's magical and you hear about it, but you can't necessarily get to it. And we've already rolled out for many of you in 3 different districts, thanks to Beth, to Cindy, and to Joyce. We've already rolled out the Wing Family of America Member Access Program, where you can get guest access to look at the family tree online, the latest and most current tree that we've been working on and expanding with the research programs that Doug mentioned. So here's the punchline. 3 districts, and you should know your different districts here, have already had an invite sent out to you by the district rep. So Beth, Cindy, And Joyce, if they're your district rep, please look for an email from them and me welcoming you into the program. If you haven't seen that email, go look in your inbox or reach out to one of them, because your districts are already online. You're already on board. And so many of you are already reaching out, exploring the tree. And we've been having Zoom meetings to really explore together, to walk through how do you access, what can you see, and really open the door to that. So that's really a wonderful part of us doing this together. So you're never really alone. Some very experienced sort of searchers, some new. The other districts are all planned to be rolled out before the end of this calendar year. And you'll get a nice invitation from your district rep and me welcoming you to that. Mark and I will be working with the district reps to continue that rollout to the rest of all the districts this calendar year. So if you're not this month, you'll probably be next month or in 2 months or in 3 months. And as many of you heard me say, I'm one of 8 kids. So I learned early on that everybody eventually eats. So just hang in there. If we haven't gotten to you yet, there'll still be food available for everyone. But we've heard really great feedback so far as we've opened the door for you to at least look at the tree and begin to explore. Whether you're a beginner or you're very advanced, there's something in there for all of us, because it's really a treasure that we hope will help you. And you'll help us find some things, like any big tree, that we can correct. So takeaways from today: be ready. If you already have a district rollout, you haven't lost out. Just reach out to your district rep. If we haven't got to you yet, hang in there. And if you have some things to contribute, once you start looking at it, you'll have some instructions on how to get that to us, but also a little bit of work to document it fully, so we can make sure anything we put into the tree is as good as all the things we already have there. Doug, that's our appeal, and a thanks to all the district reps, because you work so hard to make this available to all of our membership. It'll be a great recruiting tool.
Are there any questions that any of you have of Robert and what's being done? Because this ties into the website, this ties in to cataloging that Jim is doing, and someday he will figure out and is in the process of how to get that up online so that our members can actually access those items that we have that are cataloged, both our documents and other artifacts. This is all of one piece, and there's a lot of work that's being done on this, and I want to keep everybody informed. In fact, I've got to inform myself a little more. There's so much going on. Are there any questions that for Robert? Because this is a very important project that we're working on.
Hi, this is Sumner.
Yes, Sumner.
A question in regard to our applications. I've talked to Brenton, well, I can't remember his last name, Simons at the New England Historic Genealogical Society, and I'm sure they might be interested in scanning our applications and make them available on American Ancestors. Is this something that we should pursue?
We talked about it. I'll let Robert talk about it. We talked about it in the board meeting today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the punchline is you can approach these things one of 2 ways. You can either say, nope, this is our world and we'll hide it from the world, and if you want to come in, come join us. Or you can go the other route, which is really making these things available, but leaving breadcrumbs back to the Wing family of America. And I think we're going to pursue each of these. Obviously, the board will weigh in on anything we do. But I think that the sentiment, Doug, you were referencing is we want to make sure everyone realizes all the magical things that are part of the Wing family of America that makes it unique, including the museum, including the owl, including the tree, including all these other resources. And we hope that all of those outreach efforts lead people back to our family and its distinctiveness and grow our membership and strengthen our story. So whether it's sharing, scanning family Bibles and putting some of the family tree history that's inside those in the hands of real people, real cousins, that's valuable. And we want to make sure we make those available. I think I would always suggest going back through your district rep if you have some things or you have some ideas, like you were mentioning, Sumner, because they'll make sure we connect all the dots. But I think in general, we're all welcome to do it as long as we're, we can all see the end game. Because sharing history makes it better, right? We all learn that in our history. So I think that's a great question. Doug, does that line up?
It certainly does, and I'm glad you asked it, Sumner, because we spent some real time on that today at the board meeting, and the answer is yes, we do plan on sharing it, and we very definitely want to do that. The more we can get out, the better it is. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, I will move on to the district rep. I should say district coordinators reports. Judy, why don't you kick it off, and then I'll have Ginger.
I can do Ginger's. Is she here?
I don't think, is Ginger you? I don't think she is, but that's okay. Judy, go ahead.
Okay. I am the coordinator for the 7 Eastern districts, and this is my report. Dear Wing Family of America, the district representative's manual was the major project for this year. I attended the virtual meetings and contributed suggestions. I helped with editing the first draft for Beth Fisher, who was chair of this ad hoc committee. I have taken part in Zoom meetings, which were set up by our reps, and encourage all to make the same attempts. Thank you, Jim Grisella, for the very useful info about how to do that. I have conversed by email and phone with many district reps, and am pleased that so many will continue in office. Bud Corley was exceptional in that office, and I'm so sorry that the bike accident made him unable to continue. The biggest disappointment was when we could not attend the annual reunion that he and his family organized for us. I am very pleased with the reps of the Eastern District, and am beyond pleased to turn this office over to the next coordinator. Our board is so capable and intelligent that I have been in awe. This is my last board meeting, but not my last reunion. Judith Allen, Eastern District Coordinator. We have a couple of reports from the district reps. District 1 is Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Sarah Wing, are you ready for reporting?
Sorry, I didn't mute myself. I am.
Good.
In the district this year, it was my first year I started out. I sent out a newsletter to introduce myself. And I sent out an end of year newsletter, and I highlighted some of the projects of the historian. At the beginning of this year, March, April timeframe, we did some mini Zoom reunions to try and get people used to Zoom ahead of this meeting. We had some really good success with that. I was really excited. And I plan on doing another newsletter after this meeting to keep everyone up to date on this.
And I would like to throw in something about Sarah. She's also been helping us, Elizabeth and Robert and Lois, by reminding all of her District 1 members that dues are coming due. And it just a very simple email really helps out. It just prods people. So thank you very much, Sarah. Really appreciate that.
And thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Sarah, for volunteering as often as you do. We appreciate that too. Is anyone here to report from the 2nd District, New York? Okay, 3rd District, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Beth?
Hello. So we got together virtually last October, and I was grateful for the brave people that participated in that, because it was still kind of early in Zoom days. We had a nice gathering and did a few things online. It was nice to see everybody. We hoped we could get together in person this year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's still early. We don't have any specific dates yet, but hopefully we'll find that out as the year continues. And also, we are one of the districts that took part or are taking part in Robert's project that he was talking about earlier, with accessing the family tree. So we've had a number of people joined that, and that's really been interesting. And I encourage anybody who still wants to join that to send me an email or send Robert an email, either way. There is going to be a change in leadership, which you'll hear in the nominating committee later with this district. I've been doing this for 11 years, but I'm going to stay very active in this district, and I'm going to take on another role, hopefully, if nominations go well. And I know we have a great district rep coming in as well to take over. So I'm going to continue on with very active with the tree project, the family tree project to continue with that. So I'll maintain contact with people on that. But it's just been really a wonderful 11 years doing this. And I just look forward to what the district's going to do in the coming year. I think that's all I have right now.
Thank you. Is anyone planning to report for District 4, 5, 6, or 7?
6, I've
No.
got just this, if I could, I just got it in the email this morning at 10:37. And it came from George Wing, and he has got more Zoom meetings planned for District 6. He's also reminded everybody to be at today's member meeting, which I really appreciate. And he also gave a real nice tip of the hat to Paula for taking on the District 1 coordinator. And he also just said that it's been a tough year, but we continue on. So I just wanted to throw that in if I could, Judy. So thank you.
Great, thank you. So the Western District Coordinator is Ginger Schmidt from Texas. Do you want to do her report, or do you want me to? I'm all set.
I'll let you do it. You're doing a great
Okay.
job. I love it.
She says she attended the spring board meeting. She attended District 1 Zoom gathering hosted by Sarah Wing. She attended District 9 Texas 31st reunion in Winchester, Texas. She submitted a COVID-19 story to Sharon Ahern, our historian, and she sent Western District representatives an email of encouragement and highlighted items and interests to consider sharing with their district cousins. Respectfully submitted, Ginger Schmidt. And so she's in charge of districts 8 through 14, and I think District 10 might be the only one ready to report. Joyce?
There.
Joyce?
Yeah, we had a mini Zoom meeting, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had never done one, launched one myself, so it was kind of fun to do it. We had one with our new member from Bismarck, North Dakota, Clara Yonker. I'm not sure if Clara's on today or not, but it was fun. We had a good time, and it was really fun to see her in person and get to know her. And we are planning an in-person district gathering on July 10th in Fort Pierce, South Dakota. So I'm really anxious to see how many we can get together in person. I did send an invitation about the family tree project. I haven't gotten many responses, but I'm going to try again. And thank you, Robert, for bringing that up here. So I think we can get some more people involved in it. And I'm excited about that. I think that'll be really interesting. So we just look forward to carrying on. Thank you.
Okay, that was Joyce Schlim, and she represents North and South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. Was there anyone else in the Western District who had a report?
If not, I want to thank Kenneth Keeler for taking on District 14. We'll be talking about that later, but I am so tickled to have north of the border once again represented here, and I'm very, very thankful. And that belongs obviously to the Western District. So
Okay, that's it.
thank you very much, Judy. I'm gonna miss you, but we'll continue to harass you for more information as time goes on. Thank you. Next, and this is a very, very important. The next two are reports that I really value. Jim Whitman and the Endowment Committee report. Jim and Christina really make up the endowment committee. Obviously, it's Christina's gift of $1,250,000 as in her estate that has kicked off this whole effort for expanding our museum and creating the museum committee. So go ahead, Jim, and give your report, please. It's an important one.
Thank you, Doug. Many of you are aware of Christina's great generosity to our family that started a year ago with $250,000 and then was increased to $1,250,000. Our goal is to have $2 million as a minimum in an endowment fund, the principal of which will be permanently donor restricted so that it will remain so that the income will help to defray the costs of operating the History Center and the other museum activities, particularly providing for the curatorial expenses as well as the property-related expenses. We will be beginning to solicit those provisions again here very shortly. We suspended that activity during the disruption of our economy and the pandemic, but we're about to start again. Let me just explain a little of what we're doing. We're reaching out to people of some financial substance who are willing to make a bona fide commitment out of their estate plans, either for a specific bequest or a percentage of their estate, and they're willing to have their attorney give us a letter that has been accomplished, so that we'll begin to understand how many dollars we're working with in the future. Of course, that's all futuristic money. We're also open for donations in the meantime, so that we can get things moving to defray some of the costs. We will shortly be sending out a letter to the membership, probably through constant comment through Jim Gracella, asking people to identify family members that they may know of that should be contacted. We're all aware that we don't often talk finances, so we don't know who is of financial substance and who is not. And that's not what we're trying to do as a routine thing, but we do want to be in touch with those people who have the willingness and the ability to provide significant contributions to that fund. And in addition to that, of course, we welcome anything that can come from any member. And we're looking forward to the fact that this will enable the family for the foreseeable future and beyond to have the finances necessary to keep the museum underwritten. I'd be glad to respond to any questions, but that's our plan at this point.
Any questions? Because this is a very important effort, and Christina and Jim have kicked us off on a path that I had not anticipated, but I'm absolutely thrilled with. Hearing none, I will move to the next item, which is hand in glove with this, the endowment report that you just heard. And Richard Wing, who is the chair of the museum committee. And by the way, Mark Wing, Jim Gracella, Elizabeth Fulford, who am I forgetting? I'm ex officio. I'm a non-voting member of that group, and they've been meeting. And Richard, I'd like you to take that on and to give your report, please.
Thank you, Doug. Yes, the museum committee has had 2 meetings so far. And our main, and certainly all these issues have been discussed, but the main outcome so far has been the adoption this morning of our mission statement. And I'd like to just say that this is the seedling of a mission statement that probably will be adapted to be changed as necessary as we go along, but this is giving us a guidance. In that new mission statement is the museum committee's messages and displays will present and reflect the contributions of the descendants of Reverend John and Deborah Wing in America from colonial times to the present. The History Museum will inform Wing descendants and the general public as to the multitude of research items that are available, research projects that are ongoing, and the lives, accomplishments, and contributions of individuals of historical note. We are having more conversations, and we will be having our next meeting very shortly, and setting up some primary goals. We are looking at different responsibilities for the different people, and particularly for the curator, and what other jobs that need to be accomplished. So Jim is giving us some guidance on what he sees are some of the top items to be done. And I just want to pleased to be saying that although I am from the Pacific Northwest, I have the privilege today of being here at the History Center, and I'm looking across the street on a beautiful sunny day at the Wing Fort House right now. And here in the History Center, I can see that there are a number of displays that are set up, and a lot of others that are in progress. And certainly it has been closed to the general public, but Jim and Dave are making plans to get this reopened this summer. So we're looking forward to that happening, and I'm eager and excited and privileged to work with the museum committee. And thanks to Jim and Whitman and to Christina for their generosity and guidance with the funding that is going to need to be done here. So thank you.
Thank you for that report. I waxed on too long about it, I know, in my president's report, but this is absolutely a key project that we are involved in, and we will be, especially through constant contact and the president's newsletter and the OWL, keeping you up to date on this. This is very important. And as I stated before, and it will continue to state, the museum committee, the endowment committee are going to make it possible for us to fund it without burdening the budget for the annual operating expenses. And that's very important. We'll keep you abreast. We'll move on to new business. And first thing I would like to do, I would like to recognize the effort that Buzz Schultz is already put in trying to organize an in-person reunion in Sandwich this year. We just were not able to, or he was not able to get commitments of either the church or the club, the golf club, where we had the venues. So we just did not dare proceed, and things just were impossible to nail down so that we could have a successful reunion. Buzz is going to be piggybacking the work that he has already done, and we're going to plan a great reunion next year. And as I said at the opening, I hope this is absolutely the last virtual reunion meeting that we ever have to do. I am looking forward to getting back in touch with people face to face. I'm of a generation where that's very important, and it is. I am really looking forward to next year's reunion. Okay, having done that, and I also want to thank Richard for the attendance he did on that, and Tori as always facilitating things. Next, I would like to go to Richard for the 2022 and the 2023 reunion announcement.
Yes, the 20, where 22 is going to certainly be here at the East Sandwich. 23 will be held in California, and I know Jeff and Cindy Doherty are working on that one. And we are then moving forward and talking about also location and plans for the 24th reunion in 24. There has been some previous discussion and comments by various members about the timing of the holding of the annual reunion. I understand, and I know I've been aware that the past 2 years it has been held on this particular weekend in June. And there have been some younger members of the family who have said it is difficult to get away with all the school activities, the graduations, and then preparing children going off to college and so forth. And could we hold it at some other time? I understand also that has been discussed in the past, and it's been held here on the Cape, basically because of the cost. And certainly with summer coming, the prices around here do jump. So, and I was also informed that this is not set in stone, that this is a weekend that we have to have the reunion. So what I would like to do is offer my email address. I would like to hear from the membership in general about the pros and cons about holding the reunion at this time in June, other suggestions as to when it should be done. Should it be left to the individual district that may be holding the reunion, or do you have any other suggestions? So please send me your thoughts about the timing of our annual reunion, and that can be sent to my email address. And I'll very quickly give that. It is VON wing, WINGR@gmail.com. And I will publish in the OWL a summary of the thoughts about that, and we'll go from there. So any other questions? I'd be more than happy to answer.
Richard,
Yes.
this is Buzzy. Anything I can do to
Yes.
help you out, let me know.
You betcha. I certainly will.
Buzz, you have a target on your back.
That's right.
I've got you on my list to be calling when I get home next week.
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to help you on anything I can do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Could Richard repeat the email address or put it in the chat to everybody? 'Cause-
Yes, I'm trying to get my chat open. So I will be glad to do that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next recognition of outgoing officers. And I really give these folks my deep and our families deep thanks for it. Officers are Judy Allen, Eastern District Representative. She also served a term as a recording secretary, and I don't know how many other things. I know in the Wing Assembly of Maine, she's very active. So she has given great service to our family. Terry Wing, recording secretary. I cannot thank you enough, Terry, for all of the work that you have done. Thank you so much. The district representatives that are finishing this year, Elizabeth Fisher, but she'll be coming back on and you'll hear about that in a moment. Susan Labra from District 5, Bud Corley, District 7. He had a motorcycle accident and I can't tell you how badly I feel about losing him off the board. Pam LaRue out of District 12 and Paul B. Wing, District 14. Appointees that have resigned, Victoria Grisella, because she's moved from property manager to webmaster, and then Rob Flory, who was our long-term webmaster. I thank all of these people for the great service that they have given our family. Now, I am going to turn this over to Barbara Brand Weir, and we will go through the nominations procedures and get next year's officers all lined up. Barbara, you're on.
Thank you, Doug. I'm going to start with just a brief summary of what the nominating committee did this year. We started working in March. We knew from the beginning that we would need to fill 2 positions because of term limits. When we contacted other people who were serving in office, we discovered that we had in addition 4 other vacancies. So we then began contacting potential nominees who might be willing to serve in one of those unfilled positions. With the agreement of Doug, we also contacted the appointed officers of the Wing family to determine if they wanted to continue serving in their appointed positions, including 2 people who were just newly appointed in the past year. Every one of those persons was willing to continue in service for the new year. The committee was able to find nominees for all those vacant positions, in addition to filling an additional position that became vacant in June. And I'm going to go on to present the slate of those nominees in a minute. I just first want to say that our committee is very grateful to everyone who has served in a Wing family position, maybe leaving the position this year, but for your faithfulness and dedication in serving the family, as well as those who are starting new positions this year. That includes some so committed that they're actually just switching from one job to another, but also people who are just stepping up to take on a position that's unfamiliar, and that can be daunting sometimes. So we're grateful for them. And also our thanks to people who helped the committee identify nominees. And this happened in several ways, including people who made recommendations to us. Jim with his constant contact, shout out, even a little tutorial on bylaws, to all who helped in one way or another. We send our thanks. And now I will, the committee is from, includes Marie Cutchin and Sarah Wing, in addition to myself, and we all are grateful to those who served in any of those ways. I will now present the nominees for election for the term starting in 2001. First, for Eastern District Coordinator, we have nominee Paula Wing. As Recording Secretary, we have candidate Elizabeth Fisher Beth. As representative for District 3, the nominee is Terry Wing. Representative for District 5, and apologies if I mispronounce this name, Kathy Kuznier. Representative for District 7, Priscilla Koppel. Representative for District 12, Gail Yakaplatz. Representative for District 14, Kenneth Keeler. And with that, I'll turn that back over to you, Doug, to see if there are any other nominations from the floor.
Are there any nominations from the floor for any of these positions? Hearing none?
Doug, a point of order, though.
Yes.
We have to elect for every office. So
We
I
can't-
have to assume that the offices that weren't named would be, the nominees would be the persons who are currently holding those offices.
That is correct.
Correct?
That is correct. And
Do you want me
here's the
to-
way
Yeah.
I was going to move the slate, which includes the new officers as spelled out by Barbara and those that are continuing on. So that is what we're doing, unless I hear some other nominations.
I have, I can give the list if anyone wishes to hear it. Of the
Yeah,
people who are present.
go ahead and do that.
Okay. Continuing in office, our President, Doug Cutchin, Vice President, Richard V. Wing, Western District Coordinator, Ginger Schmidt, Corresponding Secretary, Robert Payne, Treasurer, Meredith Loomis, Historian, Sharon Raymond Ahern. I'll skip over the appointed officers
Yes.
and go to the district reps, who are Sarah Wing in District 1, Dr. James A. Wing in District 2, Chester Wing in District 4, George V. Wing in District 6, Gary Wing in District 8, Robert Barton Wing in District 9, Joyce Schlim in District 10, Thomas Wing in District 11, Cynthia Doherty in District 13, and that is all.
And Ken,
Honorary
and Ken, oh, yes, go ahead. So,
and honorary directors need to be elected as well.
is that right? I thought that they were on for 5. Okay. So would you read
Nope,
the
they-
honorary, or do you have that?
I do
have
not.
it.
The honorary directors have to be elected by separate motion from the active officers.
Pardon? So. Oh,
So
that-
if you'd handle the active officers first and then come back to the honoraries.
Okay, very good. We can easily do that. The slate has been presented to you both for the new incoming nominees and those that are continuing on. And since I have heard no other nominations from the floor, I would like to put to vote the slate. All those in favor, say aye, or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we now have a slate of officers, and now I will read the officers that we will be, just a second, the honorary directors. And I will read their names and then take a vote on them. They are Christina Ships, Betty Meering, Alfred Wing, Jeffrey Miller, and James T. Whitman. I present these honorary directors and the immediate past president as a slate. Pardon? I didn't hear that, but anyhow, that is the slate. All those in favor of re-electing these folks, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? It is a vote. You now have officers. I will go through the appointed officers that we now have, and then I'll give you my 2 new appointees that are replacing. Owl Editor Elizabeth Fulford, Assistant Owl Editor Lois Smith, Finance Officer Paul R. Wing, Assistant Corresponding Secretary Kathy Patton, Assistant Treasurer Kathy Diedrich, Assistant Historian William Ines, Genealogist Robert Wolin, Assistant Genealogist Mark Wing, Curator Jim Grisella, Assistant Curator Sales Caron Grisella, and the new appointed property maintenance manager, Dave Wheelock, and webmaster, Victoria Grisella. These are my appointments, and I'm simply announcing them. We're not going to elect them. I am, in that respect, I am king when it comes to appointees. So you now have your slate. And let's see where we go from here. Next annual meeting will be Saturday, we think, June 11th, 2022. And the location is very important, Sandwich, Massachusetts. I want to encourage everybody, please come. I'd like to see all you folks. Virtual is great for what I call everyday meetings, but as far as having a reunion, we want to do it in person. So I would like to thank everybody. Does anybody else have any comments or things that they would like to bring before this business meeting?
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
you want to leave that date cast in stone on June 11th, or?
Yeah, we'll leave that cast in stone. I don't think, I think any change in the venue time, I mean, when we do it, would be for the next year after. Yes, we'll stick right with it, Buzz. You can't go ahead and plan with a date that is moving around. I agree.
Okay. The only issue is, you know, if it would increase attendance, I mean, the June 11th to June 18th period won't make any raise any questions regarding availability of venues, et cetera.
Probably not. And what we're really talking about is maybe moving to July. So let's just leave that loose. We'll be
nailing that down real soon. I mean, we're not going to leave this,
All right.
undecided for very
This is
long.
Jeff.
Yes,
This
Jeff.
is Jeff. If we could not do it on Father's Day weekend would be good.
We will stay away. Is that Father's Day weekend?
No, I think the following weekend is.
Yeah, no, we will stay away from
Oh,
Father's Day.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, very definitely.
Check.
So having announced that, I am going to thank everybody for attending this meeting. Thank you so very much. It's nice to see you all. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Sandwich next year. And I would just like to say to all the board members, please stay here. We have a very short, and it's going to be very short, first board meeting of the year, just to do the housekeeping that we need to do. And for the rest of you, the meeting is adjourned. And,
Doug,
yeah,
Doug?
yes.
We just had a chat asking if there would be a Zoom meeting next year with the reunion for those who can't attend.
Yes.
So
Yes.
just to build that in.
Yep. Thank you very much. I didn't see it. Yes, the answer is yes.
I didn't hear that.
This has nothing to do with you, Buzz.
Okay.
This is just having having people able to attend via Zoom as opposed to the phone conference.
Well, that is part of the plan.
Yep, it is part of the plan.
All right.
Okay, and now, Your Majesty, you may adjourn.
I now pronounce this Wing Family of America annual business meeting adjourned, and thanks all for attending. And please, those of you that are on the board, stay with us. I'll wait 5 minutes and then we're going to start and we're going to move quickly.
Thank you.
It was good to see
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Just a second. I think we're ready.
Okay. I was gonna read, I'm using the nominating slate that was just voted on. So I'm gonna read the names and if you can say you're here or not. Doug, I assume you're here.
Yeah.
Richard V. Wing,
Yes.
Paula Wing,
Paula, yes. Oh, Paul R, sorry.
sorry, yes, sorry. Ginger Schmidt, I don't think is here. Elizabeth Fisher, present. Robert Payne, Meredith Loomis, Sharon Ahern.
Here.
I'm going to the appointed officers, Elizabeth Fulford. Here. Lois Swing Smith. I think she was here.
She's here, I think.
She's here, she's raising her hand.
There you are. Sorry, I'm looking down at my list here. Paul R. Wing. Yeah, sorry, what?
He's here, he's waving.
Okay, thank you. Tell me if they're waving because I gotta look at my list. Kathy Patton. Kathy Diedrich.
Here.
Bill Imes.
Here.
Robert Wolin.
Here.
Mark. Jim Gracella.
Here.
Corin Gracella.
No.
Dave Wheelock. Victoria Gracella.
Here.
Okay, and then our district reps, we have Sarah Wayne.
Here.
Terry Wing, whoops, sorry, Dr. James Wing.
Yes, here.
Okay, Terry Wing, I know is not here. Esther Wing. Kathy, is it Kuznier?
Why don't you sit here so they can see?
George Wing.
Here.
Sit here. They can
Okay. Priscilla Koppel.
Here.
Hello. Gary Wing, District 8. Okay. Rob Wing. Joyce Schlim.
Here.
Thomas Wing. Gail Yakupets,
Here.
Cindy Doherty, Kenneth Keeler. He was here. Is Kenneth still here?
I don't think he's here.
Okay, thanks. Honorary directors, Betty Myrie, Jeff Miller,
Yeah.
Christina Ships. Here. Okay. James Whitman
Here.
and Alfred Wing. Okay. I think we have quorum.
We certainly do. Thank you very much. And I would like, just again, I did this during the member business meeting, but thanks and how much we appreciate all of the officers and board committee members, both those that are staying and those that have served and are getting done. Thank you very much for your commitment to our family. And now the reports that we have here. First, the appointments of appointed officers announced at the membership meeting. I'm not going to reiterate those, but you have those. The committee appointments, as previously announced, I have all the committee appointments. Everybody received a list of those, and I'm going to send it out again. Unless anybody wants me to, I'll just name the committees and the chair. I won't go through all of the names because you have those listed. Our committees are the Property Maintenance and Restoration, the Genealogical Research Committee, the Genealogical Book and Publication Committee, the Investment Advisory and Budget Committee, because that was passed at our board meeting earlier today, the Structure and Membership Development Committee, the Audit Committee, the Policy Development Committee, the Archaeology Committee, the Fundraising Committee, the Database Use Committee, the Nominations Committee, the Endowment Committee, the Website Support Committee, and the Reunion Committee for 2022, and ad hoc committees, as I said, development support for district reps. That committee is dormant but not disbanded. I will send this out again for those of you that did not receive it, which lists all the names. These committees are established and are working. So thank you very much. Next, we have items moved to the fall board meeting. And as I told you, we would be, and I had a list here, we will definitely be talking about the new possible date. We will be talking about the website committee and the possible communications committee and many other things. We've moved those to the board meeting because we did not want this to extend out further today than absolutely necessary. Are there any other reports that anybody would like to make? Hearing none, requests and recommendations, if any, for items arising out of the membership meeting. Do we have any? Hearing none, I will move on to new business. Actions arising from the membership meeting. And now the announcements. I know this is quick, but I thought that this would at least allow people to get back to life as normal without spending much more than 4.5 to 5 and 6 hours at a slot here. Announcements: the next board Zoom meeting and phone meeting will be on Saturday, October 9th at 2021 at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, just as we always do. Is there any other business that I should have covered in this short board meeting? This is basically just housekeeping and simply kicking off the year officially.
Doug?
Yes.
This is Jim. We talked about possibly extending the term of office for some of the.
Yes.
That should be on someone's agenda.
Yeah. One of the things I am going to bring up the next time, there are a few officers that I feel would be better off being either appointed, but certainly not limited to 5 years. And we'll discuss this at our board meeting, but thank you, Jim, for reminding me, because I had a note written to myself and I didn't put it in here. I honestly feel that both the corresponding secretary and the recording secretary should not be term limited to 5 years. And I would like to have everybody think about that. I will certainly be prodding your memories, and that this will definitely be on the board meeting in the fall. We've talked about it several times. I've talked about it with Jim, and I've talked about it with others. And I think that's something that we need to, to pursue. So having said that, any other points that I have failed to cover, which I often do?
Yes, we forgot to do the bylaw change at the annual meeting for the historian.
No, we didn't. Let me tell you why. I was supposed to give, Jeff, and I meant to mention that in my president's report. I meant to give 30 days advance notice. It is a de minimis change anyhow, and I've got it all written up, and I was going to put it in. And so we're going to do it at the fall meeting, but I hadn't forgotten it. It's just that I was derelict in getting it out in time. I was visiting my son, and I got back and realized, because Terry had let me know that that's what I should do, but he let me know, see, way too early. He let me know at the end of March. and I failed to look at that note again, as I oftentimes do.
Doug,
Well,
Jim Whitman.
it has to wait till next June.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we talked about this, and it is de minimis, but it's going to have to wait till the next.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean the fall. No, it has to wait. That's a member meeting. Absolutely. Actually, I knew that. I was just seeing if Jeff and Jim were paying attention to me. So with that, thank you, everybody, for the long day that you've put in. I deeply appreciate it. I will be getting on many of the things we've talked about. It'll probably be a week and a half to 2 before I get into gear again. My son and his family are coming up for a visit. We just got done visiting them, but we've been separated for a year and a half, and I am looking forward to it. But we'll be back in gear, and I'll be in contact. So with that, thank you, everybody, and the meeting is adjourned. Yes, Paula.
Thank you, Doug.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I'll be harassing all of you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good seeing you all.
Richard, thank you. Priscilla, welcome aboard. Thanks for taking that on. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.